I'm going to hit start recording, and we are going to find out the fun way what's going to happen. Alright. I would like to say, as per usual, whenever I do any of these types of videos, any of these types of lists, I am making this list with casual players in mind. And I need to clarify that, because if I don't put Eagle in the top tier, I know 1,000 virgins in the comments are gonna tell me to kill myself. And I don't want that. So I'm making it very clear early on, I am going to be doing this with casual players in mind, or people who are just trying to finish endgame. Now that we've got that established, and everybody knows, this goes into S tier. Alright, we're gonna do this as, like, best sets overall. Helpful to have. I think a niche, mid, Y. So, let's start with, I believe this is called Hunter of Glacial Frost, or something like that. By the way, I'm not gonna know all the names off the top of my head. I don't have that little of a life, unfortunately. Let's pause real quick and take a brief word from our sponsor, LD Shop. With so many good characters coming out soon, many players simply don't have the jades they need to get them all. Now, if only there was a cheaper way to get top-ups for games like Star Rail and ZZZ. Well, that's where the sponsor of the video comes in, LD Shop. LD Shop is a safe and reliable top-up site for all your favorite games. They offer top-ups at a more affordable price than in-game, and can even activate your first top-up bonus if you haven't used it already. All you have to do is click the bundle you want, put in your server and UID, and your top-up will appear in-game shortly after. If you buy using my link as well, you can get a 5% and 15% coupon good for $50. Last but not least, if you consistently use LD Shop and spend over $80 for the month, you can get an Express Supply Pass completely free on your homepage. Use the link in the description or the pinned comment. Thank you so much to LD Shop for sponsoring. Let's get back to the video. So, it's funny because I think this set kind of suffers heavily because we have so many good ones in the game now. Because this actually didn't have, like, the worst effect. But, I'm gonna be honest, there's really no reason to use this nowadays compared to, like, Scholar Lost in Erudition, or actually just any other play in our set. We're gonna put it in mid just because it is passable. And I know what you're thinking, like, oh, if this isn't a Y tier, are any of them gonna be Y tier? Oh, there will be a Y tier. There will, in fact, be some in the Y tier. Now, let's move on to... oh boy. Let's move on to Eagle. So here's the thing. Casual players are not capable of making use of Eagle. I do not care what the fuck any of you have to say. I do not care what the min-maxers have to say, and they bring up that it's like, it's useful for Cypher, it's useful for Fei Xiao, it's useful for Pela, it's useful for March 7th Hunt, it's useful for Fugue, Dahlia. I do not care. Most people do not actually need Eagle unless you are a consistent zero cycler. If you are not, it is a mediocre set that doesn't really do anything or give you any bonuses or advantages. However, it can be very helpful for a few specific characters. And I would say there are actually multiple characters where it should be one of their top sets. First of all, if you are building a Nexa for your Herda, that is a phenomenal choice because A, Nexa is in fact a wind character, and B, it makes him go faster, which is what you want for the Herda. You can in fact use it for Fei Xiao. Fei Xiao, again, wind character. She moves often, and she ults often. Wind set, or Eagle set, is actually very good for Fei Xiao. Last but not least, Kafka. Kafka, this one is still a min-maxer perspective. I will fully admit, that one's still a min-maxer perspective. However, Kafka doesn't actually deal damage. there is a very little reason to have her on a damaging set. So honestly, it is just more advantageous to put her on this, since you'll get more benefit out of it. Because if you put her on the DOT set, you are actually just not getting that much out of it. You're just not getting that much out of it. So, for those reasons, I am going to say it is a helpful set to have. It is overall niche for every player. It's a best set for min-maxers, and in the context of any player who's just trying to build a few specific characters, it is very helpful. I'm gonna put it in helpful to have. Anyway, Eagle Boot Hill. Next up is the champion of Streetwise Boxing. I am going to be honest, I'm gonna be honest, yeah, it's a useless set. There is no physical character in the game who's worth a damn who actually needs this. I'm really sorry. Harsh reality, this set has no functional use nowadays. It is objectively worthless. Next up is Thief of Shooting Meteor, I believe is what it's called. Okay, I guess I was right. I just saw it pasted in chat. So, this set is one of the first break sets introduced into the game. It increases your break effect, and it will give you energy back when you break. Overall, this is a fine alternative. There are 3 break sets in the game, I believe, because we have this one over here in the back, and then we also have Iron Cavalry. There's 3 break sets. This is the earliest, so I'm going to be honest, those are usually the worst. This is still an okay set. It is a perfectly fine alternative, and it's pretty decent as a 2-piece variety for a few characters. So, for that reason, I am going to give it niche. Mostly because I think it is still better compared to other options than this one is. Alright. Oh god. This is a healing set, and it is interesting. So, the effects of this specific set are it increases your outgoing healing by 10%, and then it will regenerate 1 skill point for your team at the start of battle. Here's the thing, I think there are probably some very specific cool rotations you can do if you have this specific set on, like having a skill point to start the battle. That sounds kind of based. Overall, there is absolutely no reason to use this in current day when Warrior Goddess of Sun and Thunder exists. Unfortunate, but yeah, we're going into the Y tier with this one. You should not be grinding this in most cases. However, I will say, if you are doing something like Gallagher and you want to do like a 2-piece, this is a fine choice because you get outgoing healing out of it. I don't actually think it's that horrible, but like realistically just use something else, I'm going to be honest. Musketeer of Wild Wheat. This will increase your attack, it will increase your speed, and your basic attack damage, I believe. There is at least one character off the top of my head who does really like this, which is March 7th Hunt. March 7th Hunt usually likes to have this set, or Pioneer Diver of Dead Waters, or Eagle. Either way, this is a set that is honestly not bad, per se. There just aren't many characters who can make use of a basic attack damage increase. It does genuinely have some uses, so I'm gonna give it niche. Because there are, in fact, characters who would love to have the attack-attack combo, or just have, like, a basic attack damage increase. They're just so few and far between that I can't give it any higher, despite liking the set. Next up, Guard of Wuthering Snow. This is insanely mediocre. This will reduce your damage taken, and chat, I'm gonna be honest, I actually don't even know what its secondary effect is. I think it restores some of your HP. This is genuinely one of the most mediocre sets in the entire game. There are so few characters who can reasonably use this, and reducing damage taken is really nice, but at the same time, you could just increase your max HP And especially if you are a sustained character using this, there are always more beneficial sets for you to use over it. I'm gonna be honest, there is no reason to be grinding this in common day. This is gonna be a fun one. This is the Quantum Set Genius. It will increase your quantum damage, and then as a 4-piece, it will ignore 10% defense. The catch, if the enemy has a quantum weakness, you will ignore 20% defense. This is incredibly good for mono quantum teams, since Silverwolf can always make use of this, or people on Silverwolf's team can always make use of this. You would be mainly looking at a character like Archer, and then other characters like Anexa can also make use of this set. You can also do Sela, and I remember for a while people were doing Acheron because Acheron and Silverwolf were a good team, so you would have Acheron with this set, and then Silverwolf would implant the debuff, and there you go, you get your quantum weakness that way. It's definitely unique, and I do like how it works, and it's not as easily abused. Now, it's pretty easy to abuse, but you need a whole specific character for it, so I think just because it's not the most universal, because you can run it on other characters, but a lot of characters will just prefer to have something else. For that reason, I'm probably going to put it in the helpful to have tier. Pretty good, just not God's gift to gaming. I don't know why I know this name off the top of my head every single time. I just find it funny. This is Knight of Purity Palace. It increases your defense. It's, I believe it increases, like, the damage taken from shields. Chat, I'm gonna be honest, we just have a better shielder set in the game currently. There's no reason you should be using this over the new set. Oh my god. The lightning set. Chat, this will increase your lightning damage by 10%, and then I'm pretty sure it increases your attack. This is the single most useless set in the entire game. There's probably a worse set, or, you know, you may disagree with me. Every lightning DPS does not use this set nowadays. There is actually no argument to have this at all, because the effect is bad. The effect is bad, too, is the crazy part. It's not even good in any way, shape, or form, and it has no usability. There is no world where this should ever be used by any player. Next up, Firesmith of Lava Forging, I believe? I believe it's Lava Forging and not Forging Lava, but I might be insane. It will increase fire damage, and I believe it increases skill damage? I don't know, it has a pretty long effect. It does something else as well, but, fun fact, it doesn't matter. This is incredibly bad. I believe in-game this is recommended for, like, Asta and Himiko. No. Himiko should be on a break set. Asta should be on a speed set, or it actually, I wouldn't recommend trying to do that. That sounds like masochism. But yeah, no. Absolutely not. This set is the next contender for worst set in the game. These two are in a tier of oh my god, I'm actually like having a stroke over how bad these are. These two are the worst relic sets in the game, and it's not close. They have no usability, nobody wants them, no bitches, no aura, no bread. We're done. So anyway, chat, the imaginary set. Wastelander of Banditry Desert. It will increase your imaginary damage, and it will increase your crit rate when attacking debuffed enemies, and it will increase your crit damage against imprisoned enemies. I wonder who that one's for, chat. Yeah, this relic set is unbelievably useless. There is nothing else to replace it in the game, really. But at the same time, you can literally just use the debuff set that came out a few patches later, and you will see far more benefit. The other problem is that it has very situational effects. You are very rarely, if ever, going to get the crit damage against imprisoned enemies. And if you do, that means you are probably using Welt. You're done. You have lost if you are using Welt. I'm going to be honest, this is going down here. There is no reason to use this in current day. Next up, Longevous Disciple. I do know what this one does off the top of my head. You will get a max HP increase, and whenever you have your HP consumed, or whenever you lose HP, your crit rate will increase by 8% up to 16%. This is still Blade's best set. It is not the most helpful set in the world, but you can use it as a 2-piece for Fushuan. You can use it as Blade's ideal set. That on its own classifies it at minimum as niche. Most other characters do not really want it. There aren't going to be many characters who are going to be able to make ample use of it, but I do think it could definitely be a lot worse. So, good on you, Longevous Disciple. Next up, we actually have a set that I will probably be saying something good about. Wow. Haven't had that in a little bit. This is Messenger Traversing Hackerspace. Very simple effect. On your 2-piece, you're getting a 6% speed increase. When the wearer uses their ultimate on an ally, speed for all allies will increase. Honestly, that is still a decent effect nowadays. There is other speed sets in the game, and there is another support-oriented speed set, but having this much speed at any given point on your character, especially if you are also a character using something like DDD, so you get more action advance on top of a consistent speed boost, this is pretty good. This is very good, and more importantly, 2-piece speed is one of the most vital combos in the entire game to have. It is so helpful. For that reason, we are going to put it up here. I do think it could actually be up here just because it's useful as a 2-piece, but I think that would get me slaughtered, so it's going to stay down here. I don't need the people breaking down my doors yet. Next up, Ash Blazing Grand Duke. Increases follow-up attack damage by 20%. When the wearer uses follow-up attacks, you get additional attack percentage. This set is very not good overall. However, there is about 2 to 3 characters who actually really like this. First of all, Topaz. Topaz really likes this set. Second, Jingyuan really likes this set. Third, you can throw this on Jade or Mini Herda. Me personally, I would recommend you run your Jade on Poet, but hey, this is still a pretty good alternative because she is mostly follow-up damage. It is the definition of niche having very few best characters, but because it does actually have a best character who is not complete dog shit, we are going to put it into the niche category. Next up, we have Prisoner in Deep Confinement. This is a set that can be used as part of your attack percent combo for something like Robin. And more importantly, this is the best set for DOT in the entire game. You will get 6% defense ignore up to a max of, I believe, 3 DOTs? I believe that's what it is. So you get a fair amount of defense shred by having this set on your characters. Overall, this is the only set you want to be running on your DOT team, except, of course, for Kafka, who, as we already mentioned, probably wants Windset. So, that's the one exception. Overall, solid set. It has a fine 2-piece effect. I think just because it is only for DOT, I think we're going to have to put it in niche because DOT's existence is niche, but it is definitely the most impressive of the niche category. And yes, it is because it just works for really good characters. Bite me. Next up, we have Pioneer Diver of Dead Waters. This will increase your damage dealt to enemies with a debuff. It will increase your crit rate, and it will increase your crit damage to enemies with 2 to 3 debuffs. This set is the best set for Acheron. It is a useful set for a few other characters. You're mainly going to see this on, you'll see this on Welt. You can see it on Moz, but more than likely than not, you're going to see Windset on Moz. And you will actually see this on March 7th Hunt as well, because if you are running Topaz Light Cone usually, because you can then inflict a debuff. There you go. It is still a pretty decent set overall, honestly. Oh, that's a good point. Cypher does make use of this. If you're not running 200 speed Cypher, this is probably the set you're using for max damage. It's hard. Can I call this a best set overall? I don't think I can. It's still pretty good, and it has a few characters where it's nice. It's just not universally, like, applicable enough to really make a huge impact. I'm going to put it in helpful to have. All right. Next up is the Watchmaker set. I'm going to get the exact name. I don't think anybody really cares, but I'll do it. Here we go. This is called Watchmaker, Master of Dream Machinations. This will increase your break effect by 16%. When the wearer uses their ultimate on an ally, break effect for all allies increases by 30% for 2 turns. So, more often than not, you want this on one character, and that should be the only character that has it, because fun fact, the effect can't stack. So, if you were running this on HMC and Ron May, you would have one effect not actually do anything, which is why you want to then run it on... You want to then run your other character on Thief of Shooting Meteors, or literally any other set, actually. Literally any other set, actually, just to get more benefits. It's a pretty good set, and I will say, if you are playing a break team, this is probably on at least one of your characters, with the existence of the Dahlia. If you're doing Firefly, Dahlia, Fugue, and then HMC would have it, and then if you're doing Ron May in that last slot, Ron May would have it. If you're running a sustain, then you're just not going to use it. You're just not going to use it at that point. Once again, it is a very break-specific set, but because I think it is better than Thief of Shooting Meteors, it is going to be above it. We are now moving on to... Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I know y'all in the call are a bit too familiar with this. Our next set is Iron Cavalry against the Scourge. Scourge? Scourge. So, this will increase your break effect, and if your break effect is above 150%, you will ignore 10% of the enemy target's defense. If your break effect is above 250%, you will ignore 15%. Or sorry, you will actually add on 15%, so you will ignore 25% of their defense. This is the only set that you should be using on most Super Break characters. Firefly, Rappa, Boot Hill, they should all have this. Also, people will tell you that Fugue should be run on Eagle set. I'm gonna be honest, you need to ult a lot for that. Most people are not ulting that often with Fugue. It can technically be worth it since her personal damage ain't worth shit, but this is still a very good set for all of the damaging break supports. Honestly, because the break DPSs need this set more than anything else, I am actually going to give it one of the best sets overall. This is a very useful relic to have, and it is essential for your break characters in most cases. I would highly recommend getting this as it is irreplaceable in most cases. Oh my god, this one has a crazy name. Yeah, okay, I did remember, and I hate it. The Wind-Soaring Valorous. Oh my god, Valorant! This will increase your attack, and it will increase your crit rate. When the wearer uses a follow-up attack, it increases the damage dealt by their ultimate by 36%. This is good for Fei Xiao. It is good for Yun Li. It gets a lot more mediocre after that. In reality, most of the follow-up characters don't really care about this set that much. Kinda sad, honestly. And especially for Fei Xiao specifically, again, she will actually function very well on Eagle set. So, yeah. A bit sad because I remember having to grind this set a lot for Fei Xiao, but this is the definition of niche along with the other follow-up set. Both of them have such specific characters that they kind of cancel out, and neither of them are actually helpful to have comparatively. All right, our next set here. This is, I have never known how to say this properly. I believe it's, okay, here's the thing. Most people I hear say this, they put the R in front of the E and say Sacerdos. When it's like, Sacerdos. It's a very specific thing, but yeah. Anyway, Relieved Ordeal. It will increase your speed by 6%. When using skill or ultimate on one ally target, increases that target's crit damage by 18%, and this can stack up to twice. This is one of the best, if not the best, support set in the game. As a result of that, we're not talking about this any further. In most cases, this should be on all your supports, and keep in mind, it increases your speed by 6% as well, so it's a speed set. Like, it's as simple as that. Sunday should have this. Hanya should have this. Asta can have this. Ting Yun can have this. Like, Saridra can have this. This is one of the best sets in the game for any support character. That's really all you need to know. Next up, Scholar Lost in Erudition. I've made a lot of mentions of it already. This will increase your crit rate by 8%, and it will increase the damage dealt by skill and ultimate by 20%. After using your ultimate, this will increase the damage dealt by your next skill by 25%. This is the most conventionally helpful hyper carry set in the entire game. Mighty will use this. The Herda will use this. Hyper carry and Nexa will use this. Finon can use this. This is simply one of the best sets you are going to get for any DPS character. The value of it is incredible, and like so many other people and creators like to point out, this domain, the domain containing Scholar Lost in Erudition, and the domain containing Sacerdos, they are the same domain. You are getting two of the best sets in the entire game from the same domain, which is why most people advise grinding that one domain constantly. It is just a very good return on investment for your time. Alright, now we're getting into the 3.0 relic sets. I am unfortunately familiar with these, because they piss me off constantly. First up, Hero of Triumphant Song. This will increase your attack by 12%. When the wearer's Memosprite is on the field, increases the wearer's speed by 6%. When the wearer's Memosprite attacks, increases the wearer and Memosprite's crit damage by 30%. This is the best set for Aglaya. It is an attack set, so it can be used for characters like Saridra and characters like Robin. You can technically use this on your RMC, although I personally wouldn't recommend it. I would just say go for double speed set, or go for eagle set, or just don't do this, if we're being honest, but this is the definition of a niche relic set. Most characters can't use this, but it is the best set of at least one really good character, so it gets to go up here. Oh boy. Next up, Poet of Morning Collapse. This is one of the most unique relic sets in the entire game. This will increase quantum damage, and it will decrease your speed by 8%. If your speed is lower than 95, you will get a 32% increase to your crit rate. This is the best set you will get for Tribi and Castoris. However, it is also one of the best sets, if not the best set, for Jade, Lara, and there's one more character that I'm forgetting right now who is actually even remotely relevant. Let me take a look here. Archer can technically use it. I wouldn't actually recommend you use it on Archer. It's really not that good. But I will say you can also use this on Acheron as an alternative because it gives you such a massive crit rate increase. This is just a very unique set that can be used for a few more characters than it was probably intended to be used for, which is really interesting. It just happens to work very well for quite a few quantum characters. And then if you're already slow, but you're a DPS who doesn't need their turn to actually do their full damage, this is a good set because you just get a massive crit rate increase, basically equal to a crit rate body piece, which is massive. I think It is not the best set in the game, but the characters who use this set typically cannot find an alternative anywhere else. And it is helpful for quite a few characters. I am currently not sure if I want to put it in helpful to have or best sets overall. I'm a bit torn. I think I'm going to put it in best sets to have. I think that's what I'm going to do. All right, we got 4 sets left. I believe this is called Warrior Goddess of Sun and Thunder. This will increase your speed. It will. Oh my god. Oh boy. When the wearer and their Memosprite provide healing, you get a status called Gentle Rain. This will increase your speed and ally crit damage. This is the best set for healers in the entire game. You should be using this on Huohuo, you should be using this on Luocha, you should be using this on Hyacinth, you should be using this on Bailu, you should be using this on Gallagher. It is the best set for healers in the game. As a result of that, it is going into best set overall pretty easily. Alright, the next 3 should be fairly easy. This next set is called Wave Strider Captain. This is a pretty interesting set. It will increase your crit damage, and then it will give you a stack of help every time you are the target of a ally target's ability. When you have 2 stacks of help, you can use your ultimate and gain a 48% attack increase. This is mainly going to be useful for Saber and Finon. It is an okay set, and it is technically good for just about every hypercarry character in the game. It won't be the best set, but it's also not awful. So, for that reason, I'm going to put it in helpful to have. I will say, I do think Scholar Lost in Erudition is probably going to be better value, but this is a comparable alternative, and it is technically better for some characters, so keep that in mind. Oh my god, alright. We are down to our last 2 here. This came out in the Evernight and Dan Heng patch. First up, World Remaking Deliverer. This will increase your crit rate, very nice. And after that, after the wearer uses a basic attack or skill, if the wearer's Memosprite is on the field, it will increase the max HP of the wearer and their Memosprite by 24, and increase all allies' damage by 15%. This is really pretty good for very specific characters. This is the best set for Evernight, and this is the best set for Cyrene, unless you are running a 200 speed Cyrene, in which case, fair. It is a pretty decent set overall, and you can use it just for the crit rate purposes since that is its 2-piece effect. The main problem with this set is it is a very limited set because it requires you to have a Memosprite. Shocker. It was designed with those characters very much in mind. For that reason, I kinda want to lean it towards a niche, because even the other Memosprite characters can't actually make much use of this, which is unfortunate. It's not bad. It has a very helpful 2-piece effect of crit rate, which is nice. No, because DOT's set is right down here. Crit rate's more applicable. Alright, I'll put in bottom of helpful to have. It's getting in there by the skin of its teeth. And last but not least, we have Self-Enshrouded Recluse. This is the new Shielder set. It will increase shield effect by 10, and it will increase shield effect provided by 12 as well. And when an ally target has a shield, the ally target's crit damage increases by 15%. Good for Aventurine, good for Japard, good for Dan Heng PT. It also just has no 2-piece usability, unfortunately. And because shielders are way less common than healers, I'm gonna be honest, it's going in niche. I know that feels unfair considering the healing set got to go up into best set overall, but because preservation characters are so much more non-existent, besides really Dan Heng and Aventurine, this set is far more limited in that usability, whereas some of the most common characters in the game are healers. So as a result, the value of this is just way higher, unfortunately. Also, it has speed as its first effect, which is super, super helpful. And I think we're good for today. I feel like I'm going to get lambasted for Eagle set. I wish I did Eagle last so I could have more viewer retention. Now people will yell at me. Like, oh my god, what have I done? I think I explained Eagle very fair. I think I was very fair on Eagle, if we're being honest. I am not sure if I am going to make a completely different video out of the planars. I don't know, I'll splice it together or something, or I'll just cut it here. God only knows what I'm cooking up most of the time.